There she is, as usual. Head down, bum up.
Well, good afternoon. Looks like you had a pretty good time with Anne last night.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but that's not the reason I'm late, as I told you on the phone.
Oh, yeah, I know. You were out in the big bad city rescuing a damsel in distress.
Well, I was. I was playing Sir Lancelot.
All right, I believe you. But thousands wouldn't have. Anyway, what'd you do with her?
Well, I left her getting on like a house on fire with Mrs. Beaton.
I gotta admit, that hurts me a little bit, Wally. Why didn't you bring her here?
Oh, I'm sorry, but, you know, all due respects to you, I was a little bit worried about the sort of women she might, you know, bump into here.
Fair enough. I don't know, Wally. Maybe those girls should stay in the country. It doesn't take too long for the city to rub off their innocent bloom.
Oh, well, I think it'll take a little bit longer to roughen up Rosemary.
I hope so. Now, if you can get your bloodshot eyes over to this box, we might find something for the kid to wear.
All right.
And later on, I'm going to ring up Wentworth. I'm going to have a word to Anne about keeping you out so late.
Well. What have we got here, then?
God, you frightened the bloody daylights out of me.
Oh, sorry, no. Go on, finish your coffee. Promise I won't tell a soul.
Good on you, love. And I always thought that do-gooders were a bloody big pain in the bum.
Well, there you go. Anyway, I need a bit of a pick-me-up after that needle. What about you, Don? You fancy a coffee?
Don't think it's wise to encourage these people, Tony.
Huh?
You don't know what that woman's in here for.
Oh, right. Tell you what, if she starts attacking you or anything, I swear I'll call in every available officer, all right?
Oh, thank God you're both here. That woman who had the fever, she's dead, Tony. She's dead, so we've just got to get out of here. What do you mean, Glynis? She's not dead. She wasn't that sick. Were you with her? She's in my dorm. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Do you hear me? You've got no right to be in this place. Get out of here. Oh, God. Don't just stand there. Get the contraption out of here. Oh, there's dirt and filth everywhere. Oh.
Irene.
What are we doing here, Tony?
Hi, Trevor. What the hell's going on?
All off limits, Judy. Some disease broken out in the prison. It's supposed to be pretty contagious. It's called Lassa fever or something.
Oh, my God. Well, I better go and see what I can do.
I wouldn't advise it, love. You set one foot in here and I can't let you out again.
Well, do you know who's sick or how many?
I'm sorry, I don't. Why don't you give Mrs. Reynolds a call? She'll be able to fill you in on the details.
Yeah, right. Listen, you look after yourself, okay?
Now listen to this one. Echo. And the answer's got 11 bloody letters in it.
Wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow? What's that got to do with Echo?
Oh, I don't know, but it's got 11 bloody letters, hasn't it?
Forget it. Waste of bloody time anyway.
Yeah, I must be getting on for 4 o'clock. I'll be locking up at the factory soon.
What if your brother has second thoughts and looks the safe? Where will we be then?
Bloody broke.
You're a mad bugger, Tink.
Oh, no. Rail set it up okay. I know him. Never let you down. If he says he'll do something, he'll do it.
Half your luck. I wish I had someone like you for a mother. Golly, we'd had some good times, eh?
What, have you been mine, my girl? I would have made sure you joined the Girl Guides and sang in the church choir. Boy, I would have made you so straight you wouldn't have been able to bend far enough to even get on a bike.
Gonna miss you, Tink.
Hey, come on, kid. You're not getting rid to be that easy. You know, I've even got the dress all picked out for when you meet that nice square hubby of yours. I could be matron of honour.
Here comes the bride.
And hubby's all cowhide. Da 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 da. I'm now gonna have a drink, Pete.
What's this for?
Just in case we might run into someone.
No bloody way. You won't get me within 10 miles of that factory if you're going to take a gun.
Look, it hasn't even got any bullets in it.
No gun.
No gun. And that
bloody toffee-nosed, passive person screaming at me like I was the scum of the earth.
Look, it's bloody typical of those do-gooding bastards. When it all boils down to it, they don't give a stuff about anyone but themselves.
Lizzie, are you sure it was the fever that killed her? Don't forget she was trying to kick her head, but she might have got hold of a hypodermic and shot the wrong stuff into herself. Bloody oath, it was the fever. And if you could believe that toffee-nosed bitch, it was...
Listen. Lil just saw Mrs. Sharp burning sheets and stuff at the incinerator. She reckons it was Glennis Ladd's stuff and they were just being on the safe side. But Lil reckons she looked real worried about something.
Right, that does it. OK, let's hold the fort. I'm going to get some answers and they better be bloody good.
Ooh.
Wally, I've just come from Wentworth. They got real problems there.
I know. Anne just rang.
What did she say? Is there anything we can do?
All we can do is wait.
Well, we can't just sit and wait. I mean, those women are my friends. There must be something we can do.
No, there's nothing we can do, Judy. It is serious, though. One of them's dead.
What?
Only one.
Well, who is it?
One of the new women, the new prisoners. She had the disease when she first came in.
Oh, my God.
There is something that we have to get done. We have to have blood tests. Immediately.
I'm sorry, Mr. Adler, but these restrictions have been imposed for a reason. Yes, you can still write. Yes, all right. Goodbye. Yes, Colleen?
Smith wants to see you.
Bring her in. All right, Smith, what's the problem?
Well, I was hoping you could tell me that. We just heard Glennis Ladd died. Now, was it from the fever?
It could have been a number of things. Dr. Collins wasn't able to make a firm diagnosis. The fact that she was going through drug withdrawal makes it rather complicated.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Reynolds, but that's just not good
Smith,
enough.
that's
Well, either
enough.
she died of the fever or she didn't know. Which is it?
All right, Smith. Until I see an autopsy report, that's the way it looks.
Then how come we were told that this fever was no more dangerous than an outbreak of chickenpox?
I'm sure that's obvious to you, Smith.
No, it's not. We're not a pack of school kids. We have a right to know.
Right. Time to put them straight.
But it's terrible. 1 minute she was just a bit sick and then... poof!
She was more than a bit sick, love. She was halfway to death's door before anyone took any notice of her.
Give a bugger about us.
Why don't you all calm down until we get the full story?
Go and stick your head in the book, Teach. We're talking about people dying. If they thought it was important enough to give us needles, then they must expect something to happen any minute.
Oh, give it a rest.
Well, I reckon it's things that we
Okay,
can...
Oh,
Mrs. Reynolds, what else is quiet?
I can't possibly explain what's happening till you've all calmed down. Now, I know you're all worried.
Too right we are. We want out of this dead trap spread.
A transfer is impossible at the moment. Everyone who's been in contact with that has to be kept isolated in case they're carrying the infection. Now, once the danger's over, everything will go back to normal.
How many of us will be dead by then?
Shut up, Phyllis.
Well, I reckon
Shut up!
You're all worrying unnecessarily. Everyone's been inoculated, so even if you come down with the fever, now you've got that added protection to help fight it. Just have to zip this out together.
Oh, but Mrs. Reynolds, I've
No,
been...
Lizzie, let me finish. Now, the health department is anxious to find out where Lad could have caught the disease. Obviously, she was already sick when she came here. And they need to track down the carrier before the whole city is hit with a serious epidemic.
Bloody lovely!
So if any of you can remember anything Lad said that could help them,
Helen, you could. Mrs. Reynolds, she's burning up. I reckon they'll have to look after themselves, Mrs. Reynolds. We're going to have our hands full looking after our own dead.
Inspector Waters, it's Anne Reynolds here from Wentworth Detention Centre.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Reynolds. Inspector Waters is out. Can I help?
Yes, I have to report another diagnosed case of Lassa fever. It's Helen Smart, age 35.
Right. Any other suspected cases?
No, not at the moment. But Inspector Waters did ask me to try and find out whether the lad woman had mentioned anything about where she'd been just before she was imprisoned. It's not much, I'm afraid.
Fire away, Mrs. Reynolds. It may not seem important, but sometimes the most insignificant information is what leads us to the source.
Well, one of the women remembers her mentioning that she'd bought her drug supplies from a man living in the docks area. Apparently he brings in his own stuff pretty regularly.
Ah, good. That's the sort of thing we're looking for. Any names?
No, but she did keep mentioning the name Harry just before she died. I thought there might be some